going to be talking about how digital communication has been the primary form of the way we communicate. People nowadays forget to look around them and enjoy their surroundings. They go to a bench at the park, they're on their phones. They stand in line, they're on their phones. They're in the bathroom, they're on their phones. They're at a concert, they're on their phones, and so on. Every spare minute we have, we're on our phones. People have become attached to their devices more than ever. They feel a part of them is missing if they don't have their technology with them at all times. Whether you're dating someone, interviewing someone, or meeting someone for the first time, there's a special quality about face-to-face interaction. You can catch the subtle tone in someone's voice, see their expression as it changes. It's unfortunate that real-life interactions are on the outs as cell phone conversations, texting, Facebook, Instagram, and emails start to take up most of our times. So I did a little research, and by research I mean I went on Google, and some of the 10 million pages of results I found might just shock you. Did you know that about 58% of cell phone users can't go an hour without checking their phones? 30% use their phones while enjoying a meal with another person, and 24% use their phones while driving, and nearly 20%, if not more, use their phone in class. We're on our phones as soon as we get up in the morning, all throughout the day, and right before we go to bed. Now, how is this crippling our communication? One would think that if we're always on a piece of technology made to advance our communication, that we would be brought closer together, right? Wrong. Digital communication is making us more isolated. Since technology and the internet have progressed, the way we communicate has been enhanced. People tend to feel lonelier and more isolated than ever because of how much they depend on their devices, which makes them shut down to people around them. According to a few internet research surveys, nearly 13% of all American cell phone owners pretend to use their phone to avoid a conversation with someone else, and we've all done it at one point or another. Yeah. You see someone you know, you take out your phone, pretend to text someone, call someone, go on your Instagram, anything you can do to not talk to the person. According to Melnick, instead of the presence of each other, people prefer to talk online and send text messages because they can control how long it takes for them to respond, leaving out the awkward silence that you face during face-to-face interactions. The constant use of our phones is making us socially awkward. Society has lost touch with communications and being social. They prefer to FaceTime someone and talk to them through a screen than actually setting up a meeting and having a genuine conversation with a person. According to Cornell University's Steven Striga, social media sites can make it more difficult for us to distinguish between the meaningful relationships we foster in the real world and the numerous casual relationships formed through social media. We get an alternate perspective of individuals if we can talk to them online as opposed to meeting them face to face. For example, if you meet an individual online, you get so relaxed with talking to them in that way. But when we eventually get the opportunity to see them, people tend to get frustrated and feel uncomfortable on the ground that they're not used to having a face-to-face conversation with them. But isn't that the beauty of having a relationship with someone? Technology is decreasing the significance quality of up-close and personal discussions. These devices were made for us to communicate with people and share our feelings and pictures. Yet individuals are utilizing them in the wrong way. As stated by Naz in the bottom line, social networking sites are slowly destroying the importance and meaningfulness of conversations that we have with people, thus making us feel more detached and socially awkward. People rather text someone or call someone, which makes delivering bad news in a way easier. But you don't get to see the person's facial expression or if what you said affected them in any way. Decreasing the use of your phone will actually help benefit you and your social life. If you think I'm suggesting that you actually stop using your phone, you can guess again. Because not only have we invested too much of our own time and money into these devices, but if you haven't caught up on this or not, our lives actually revolve around them. Just because your phone is always on you doesn't mean you always have to be on your phone. People need to realize that if you really want to connect with someone, you must try to disconnect from everything that's occasionally beeping and buzzing. Individuals long for closeness. Neurobiologists have discovered we're wired for it. However, genuine and real intimacy requires being courageous. However, genuine and real intimacy requires being vulnerable, and being vulnerable demands courage. It requires that we throw away the masks we can so effortlessly hide behind them the web and uncover who we are with others. The great, the awful, and the occasionally not so filtered and photoshopped self. We need to focus on the world that is around us rather than the one that is in our hands. Because while we might try to stay connected, we may be missing out on the connection of a lifetime. Thank you.
Yeah, could you hang on? All right, Karen, I know that the issue is digital communication, but I couldn't tell you exactly what your proposition is. And although I could pick out some particular claims in the body of the speech, that's mostly because I was listening for them and I remembered reading your outline as opposed to hearing your presentation being delivered in a particularly well-organized way. You need to preview what the contents are, and you need to signpost those points as you get to the individual points. Sometimes you seem like you were rushing over a section trying to get to the next piece of information instead of explaining to us why the information that you just presented proves the particular point that you're on. And there really isn't any transition language in the argument. So it sounds like an essay that's being read to an audience as opposed to a speech that's being delivered to an audience. And there is a difference between the way people process information as listeners, and you need to make some adjustments in order to be able to do that. I did think that you had some good explanations of some concepts in the presentation, things that create potential problems. There are some people and experts that you quote. Their information seems a little bit conclusionary because they often give these declarative statements about it's destroying our ability to have conversation without providing any proof other than their own expertise on this. And I'm not exactly sure that that's as convincing as it could be. A couple of places you had some statistical information that I also thought did support your position a little bit, like the one about how many people are using their phone on a regular basis in a variety of places, including the car. Thank you for sparing us the statistics on how many people are using their cell phones while they're using the bathroom. I think we could live without that knowledge. And I like for example, the illustration that you had about people who use their cell phones to avoid conversations. That people have done that, I think, is probably true, and you've got some good statistical information on that. I don't know that you can reach the generalization then that means that people don't want to have conversations. It might simply mean that they don't want to have conversations with particular people. You're kind of treating it as if it is the same sort of thing. I did think, like I said, that you had some good information in the presentation, but it often gets lost because of the way you present. You go through every sentence at the same pace, which is a little rapid, and there isn't any emphasis on particular ideas. You've got some authority. Tell us who that person is. At one point you made a reference to Cornell University's somebody. I don't know exactly their name, but I know that they were from Cornell University. Slowing down and telling us, who they are makes their opinion a little bit more valuable to us, and especially if it's a conclusionary opinion and all we're being asked to do is accept what this person says without providing us any additional research, then you really need to enhance that credibility, and you're not doing that often. Delivery issues, there are some public speaking things that we have to pay attention to. You need to look up a little bit more. You deliver the speech too frequently to the top of the lectern instead of to the audience in front of you, and that makes it a little bit harder to hear what you're saying. And you want to engage with people. You're not just standing in front of them reading out loud. You need to talk to us and make the argument. It should be pretty straightforward. Look, here are the 3 things or 4 things that I want to convince you of. Let's talk about this first one. Here's some evidence that I have to prove that particular point. And think about talking and communicating with the audience as opposed to, let me just get through this as fast as I can. Sometimes I know people are dealing with anxiety issues sometimes, and sometimes it's just, I'm just used to reading out loud, and that's what I'm going to do. You got to adjust. All right, thank you.